Greetings, kids. Bishop Vetter here, your bishop. I'm here with another story. This one is Daniel and His Walking Stick, written by Wendy McCormick. All right, let's get started. Daniel and His Walking Stick. All right. I don't have a grandfather. Not like everyone else I know, not anymore. Sometimes when my mom brushes my hair into a braid, she tells me about my grandfathers. Sometimes when I help my dad make pancakes on Saturday mornings, he tells me about my grandfathers. There she is. I had two, Grandpa Jack, who died before I was born, and Grandpa Ray, who lived long enough to visit me when I was a baby. He gave me a bath and tickled my earlobes. He sang me songs about the sea. I don't remember it, but that's what Mom and Dad tell me. My dad asked if I minded not having grandfathers. No, I said, but I did. One day last summer, Mom said, Jesse, we're going to the country on vacation, where I used to go with my mom and dad when I was a little girl. As we drove away, I watched our city get smaller and smaller until it looked like a postcard out of the window. Then I fell asleep. When I woke up, we were in the country. No subway, no buses, nothing but woods all around us. Sounds like here, huh? Can you hear the wind whistle through the trees? Mom said. I closed my eyes, listening. I heard footsteps crunching leaves. Then I opened my eyes and I saw something walk out of the woods. At first, I thought it was a tree come to life. Then I saw it was an old man dressed in a green jacket and brown boots carrying a big gray pole. See him? Kind of does look like a tree. This is Mr. Stockton, said Mom. He lives down the road. He taught your mom how to fish when she was your age, said Dad. You look like a tree, I said. Mr. Stockton bent to look at me in the eyes. Thanks, he smiled. You can call me Daniel. What's your pole for? I asked. It's my walking stick, said Daniel, for walking in the woods. He thumped the stick on the ground. Where'd you get it? I asked. Ah, now that's a story, Daniel said, that can't be told until just the right time. When's the right time? I asked. Not just now, Daniel said. Not just now. So Mom and Dad and Daniel and me walked all along the lake shore. And we talked, too, about all the shiny fish Mom and my grandfather and Daniel used to catch. That night, Mom said, there's nobody like that Daniel Stockton. I said, I wonder where he got his walking stick. And I fell asleep. The next day, Mom taught Dad how to fish. And Daniel and me and his walking stick went walking. I use my stick to pull me up hills, Daniel said, and to lead me down again. When I want to cross a stream, I slip my stick into the water like this to see how deep it is. Why? I asked. So I know if I can cross the stream without getting my knees wet. He winked at me. I like Daniel. See him? After that, Daniel and me and his walking stick went walking every day, and he pointed out things I've never seen before. There, he said, and I saw a loon's nest with 2 brown speckled eggs inside. Over there, he whispered, and I saw a blue heron standing thin in a shallow of the shore. Here, he poked his stick into the ground in a hole. Here's where a woodchuck lives. See, he's teaching her all sorts of things. One day, Daniel used his walking stick to push back the thorny branches of a raspberry patch so I could get in to pick the berries. We sat on a big round rock to eat them, and I told him all about my grandfathers. Grandpa Jack died before I was born, I said, and Grandpa Ray lived long enough to visit me when I was a baby. He gave me a bath and tickled my earlobes. He sang me songs about the sea. That would be just like your grandfather, Daniel said, the one that I knew anyway. I didn't know my grandfathers, I said. Do you mind that? Daniel asked. Yes, I said. Daniel tapped the raspberry branch. Some of the berries fell right into my hands. Could I have 3 grandfathers? I asked. Daniel scraped mud off his boot with his walking stick. Why not? He said. Good, I said. Daniel stood up slowly. Do you want to know where I found my walking stick? He asked. Is this the right time? I asked. Yes, Daniel said. So Daniel and me followed the lake shore to the bay where the biggest birch tree stood. He knelt down where the tree roots dug into the shore. He put his hand on a white bark. Here, he said, here's where I found it. Your grandfather and I were fishing here sometimes. I looked down at his hand. I looked a lot like those birch tree roots dug into the shore. You see, his hands are all wrinkled and old. My walking stick probably washed up from across the lake, he said. Maybe a woodchuck left it here for you, I said. Maybe. He reached down into the bushes near the tree. It looks like a woodchuck must have left one for you, too. Daniel handed me a walking stick. That's nice. After our vacation, when I got home to the city, I used my walking stick to pull myself up the steps of the bus and to lead me down the escalator to the subway when I went to visit Grandma Rosa. Sometimes I pointed out things to my mom and dad. Here, I said, someone left a black shoe near the flower shop. There, I said, there's an airplane high up in the sky. Sometimes I used my walking stick to find out how deep the puddles were in the street. Why do you do that, Jesse? Dad asked. So I know if I can cross the puddle without getting my knees wet, I said. She's saying just what old Daniel said. Then I told my mom and dad all about my grandfathers. I had 3. Grandpa Jack, who died before I was born, and Grandpa Ray, who lived long enough to visit me when I was a baby and tickle my earlobes and sing me songs about the sea. And only one, called Daniel, who has a walking stick, just like me. The end. That's a delightful story, kids, isn't it? That's wonderful. You can learn so much from our elderly, right? From grandparents. So ask them questions. Your grandma and grandpa still alive? Ask them all sorts of questions. Keep bugging them. And if they've gone to heaven already, then you ask other people who are elderly. Ask them questions, right? It's amazing what we can learn from those who are older than we are. So God bless you, kids. Say a prayer for me. Bye now.